Hello, my fellow Slayers. This is Mloentje, and welcome back to Dauntless. Frost Escalation has arrived a couple days ago, I think. Well, Thursday, it's Saturday right now. But there are some new mechanics behind Frost Escalation that weren't really in the previous escalations. So I kind of needed to do some testing before I actually started recording my video. But yeah, let's just jump right in. So the first thing you're gonna need to do is go to your Slayer's path, because you're gonna need to unlock Frost Escalation to be able to actually play it. So if you go to tier 6 on the main pathway, you have Elemental Mastery, and then on the left side you have the Escalation nodes. All the way at the bottom here you have the Unlock Frost Escalation for the normal mode, which lets you play from level 1 to 13, which you are actually gonna need to do. So it is 50 exploration merits. It's really cheap. And then if we go to pathway 12, the reforged pathway on the right side here, we have the Unlock Escalation Hard node. So you do need to unlock these nodes to be able to play it. And then all the way at the bottom we have the Unlock Hard Frost Escalation node. It is 50 exploration merits as well, but basically you can unlock it for free as the rewards behind the Frost Escalation, as we're gonna look at the amps at the end of this video. One of the rewards in the different tiers is 100 exploration merits. So yeah, you can unlock it. In the end, you're gonna unlock it for free. Now, like I said, there are some new mechanics behind Frost Escalation, and the main mechanic behind the Frost Escalation is Frostbite. Now, what does Frostbite do? I think we're just gonna need to step right in and show you guys. Linnea is... You're gonna notice this a lot. Linnea is talking a lot. Like a lot, to the point where it actually becomes kind of annoying that she's talking so much. We had the first debuff and the first new mechanic that's actually behind the Frost Escalation. As you can see on the top, we got a new meter, and this is the meter for Frostbite. Now, what does Frostbite do? Basically, it fills up the meter slowly. Now, you can see there's like a indicator at 75%. So every time you defeat a behemoth, the meter will rise faster and faster and faster. Meaning by the time you are at the last behemoth, your meter will... In normal mode, it's not really an issue. In hard modes, it can become an issue. Now you can see some icicles showing up on the meter. So I'm gonna show you what actually happens when this meter completely fills up. So around the 75%, you can see ice pickles all over the bar. And we also get a sound indicator and a red bar warning you of the threat that, well, Frostbite is gonna become active. I'm only gonna do this once because, well, as you probably gonna see at the end, if you're Frostbite and you get frozen in your spot and you're playing solo, your Frost Escalation is over. All Slayers will be critically damaged, and you will be taken out of Frost Escalation. So yeah, I'm only gonna show you guys this once, and try not to do it another time when we go later in. So the bar is almost at max, and bam, you get frozen in your spot. All Slayers critically injured, calling for extraction. So yeah, this is definitely something you do not want to happen when you play solo. So with a new debuff, there has to be ways to counter this Frostbite. One of the ways to actually counter the Frostbite are these braziers that are basically, they're all over the entire island, but they're not at the venues where you will be fighting the behemoths. Now, what happens when you actually go close to a brazier, the flame will be absorbed, and as you can see in the top, my brazier, my Frostbite actually, holy hell, I lost my words already. My Frostbite actually went down with, I think it is around 10% for every flame you absorb. Now, as long as you stand next to these braziers, you can see already, my bar for the Frostbite is not going up. You can still hear the flame, but there is no more flame in here. But yeah, as long as you stick around these places, your bar will not get filled up. At the last behemoth, there are I believe, 2 braziers in the arena itself. But for all the other behemoth fights that you're gonna do, as you can see here in front of with this Ganasher, there are no braziers. So the only time you will be able to pick them up is along the way when you go from one arena, well, one place where you fight a behemoth towards the next one. Because these will be placed all along the line. So basically if you run from behemoth to behemoth, you're gonna be able to lower your Frostbite. The second means to actually get rid, well, not get rid, but just stop the overall progress of your Frostbite meter is by placing a cleansing pylon. So as long as you stay in the range of a cleansing pylon, your meter will not fill up. I cannot show you because I don't have the cleansing pylons. But yeah, placing a cleansing pylon actually helps you, well, reduce the amount of, well, not reduce it, but it just generally stops the meter. So those are 2 ways, and then the third way and the most important way to actually reduce the meter are these 4 pillars. Now these 4 pillars all give avatar bonuses. Now what are the avatar bonuses? You have the Avatar of Destruction, gain 15% chance to critical strike, reduces Frostbite for all slayers by a small percentage of the critical damage done. So let's pick this one up and let's go check it out. So it said that it's based on the critical damage done. So as you can see here on top, if you look at my meter, every time I do a critical damage hit, you can see the meter just slowly going down every time with a small tick. So the more critical damage you do, the more the meter will go down. And this is also one of the ways you can actually keep your meter generally really good at bay. But it does require you to do a lot of critical damages. So for repeater users, the Twin Suns would be really good for this use. As you can see as well, defeating a behemoth, it basically brings your meter all the way back down. But because we defeated the behemoth, our meter for the next, well, the next line, as you can see right now, it's already filling up faster and faster and faster. So every behemoth you defeat, your meter will increase faster and faster and faster. So for the second avatar, we have the Avatar of Subtlety, deals a 50% increased wound damage per hit, reduces Frostbite for all slayers when a behemoth part becomes wounded or broken. Now the fun part about this one is that it actually also works with repeaters. It kind of works, well, with every weapon there is. So, oh, come on, I'm trying to explain here, stop pushing me on the side. So yeah, doing wound damage with the repeaters, doing wound damage with a hammer, with a sword, it becomes really fun. Now the problem is that on behemoths like this, I cannot actually show you, well, we got a break part, and as you can see right there, the meter went all the way down. If you break one again, meter went down again. So it's actually a pretty cool one, and well, I'm actually really liking to take the wound on my repeaters, because you might not do a lot of damage, but you're hitting really... I think of all the weapons that you actually have in the game, I think repeaters hit the most. And because it's basically wound on every hit, repeaters doing wound damage can create wounds really fast. Not on the normal difficulty, as you see, the behemoth just die way too fast. But on the higher tier difficulties, I'm actually be able to place like a lot of wounds. I'm able to place wounds before actually breaking the parts. For the third avatar, we have the Avatar of Unity. Gain a chance to grant 7 shields to all slayers when dealing damage. Slightly reduces Frostbite on all slayers who gain these shields. So you're always gonna give like 1 shield to one specific player, and it's possible that, well, you give 7 shields to one player before you actually give a shield to another player, or it's possible you give everybody like 1 shield, then 2 shields, then 3 shields, maybe 1 6, then the other 3. Like it's sporadic to who you're gonna give it to. As you can see here, at the top of my health bar, my shields are going up. And every time I place a shield, I basically lower my Frostbite meter. So it's a pretty good perk It's also one I kind of enjoy with the repeaters, because it has a shield placed on chance on hit. And like I said before, repeaters are the... well, they're the weapon that hits the most in the game. Unless you're going to the pike special where you start stabbing at a really fast pace. I do believe that repeaters hit the most in the fastest sequence. So granting a shield to all players on a chance on hit is really beneficial if you take it with repeaters. For the last avatar, depending on which side you actually start counting, Avatar of Control. Deal 30% increased stagger damage per hit. Reduces Frostbite to all slayers when a behemoth is staggered or interrupted. Let's take this one out and test it. Now, this is the strange one for me, because, well, I'm using repeaters, and repeaters can't actually do wound damage. And it says I got an increase in wound damage. And I did wound damage. This one gives an increase in stagger damage, but as you can see, there's no stagger damage. So yeah, getting this one for repeaters is kind of a wasted up. Whoa! All of a sudden there's stagger damage. Yeah, it's the Frostbite. But yeah, as you can see, no stagger damage for repeaters. So it's really wasted. It's really not a good option to take this one. Hammers, strikers, really good option, but not for repeaters. Swords do stagger damage, so they can benefit from it. Pikes do a little bit of stagger damage, they can benefit from it. Even the chain blades stuck in reload again. Even the chain blades do actual stagger damage, but well, don't take this one with repeaters, because you're basically not gonna be able to lower your well, bar at all. Like at all. As you can see, the previous fights I was always like at the bottom. My bar was not filled at all, and this time I'm, well, 30%, 40% ish. So those are the 3 avatars that you can pick when you go inside of Frost Escalation to actually lower your bar on the top there. So it's definitely a really nice mechanic there. I kind of love it. Like they implemented the debuff, and they also implemented ways to actually combat the debuff as well, which is something of course they had to do. The first normal modes is really easy. Like you're not gonna be able to, well, you're not gonna have any issues with the debuff at all. On hard mode though, it becomes more difficult as the behemoths get a lot more tougher. It becomes a whole lot more tricky to kill them or break their parts fast enough to actually reduce that meter, as you can see on the top there. One thing I do have to say, like, I've done a couple runs on hard mode as well, just to test it out and see how things fared off. Escalation is not a means to level your weapons. I cannot repeat this enough. Escalation is not a means to level your weapons. If you want to run hard mode Escalation and you want to face the last behemoth, make sure that your weapon level is at level 20. That way you have the biggest armor increase buff. Well, you have the max, right? If you look at our inventory right now, and we'll look at my equipment, power level 560. Resistance for my armor 540. You're gonna need it. I've seen multiple runs already on hard mode just fail because people come in here with weapon power 10, with weapon power 16, 17, barely making it out alive, just getting one shot by the last behemoth or getting one shot by Shroud or Rezakiri. That actually is a possibility of spawning here. So like I said, I cannot repeat this enough. If you come to hard mode, normal mode, the behemoths die really fast. So sure, farm out your weapons on normal mode. Nobody's gonna have an issue with that. But I've seen people rage on other people that didn't have their builds out to the max, like at weapon power 20, like I'm at right now on hard mode. It becomes an ugly sight when people start swearing your ass off because you're basically dying every second. I was kind enough to tell somebody yesterday, like, maybe you should it was at level 17. I said maybe you should focus on upgrading your weapon level to level 20 before you actually come to hard mode. And he basically told me to eat my, well, ding dong. And I was like, dude, it's only a suggestion that I make. Like, you're dying every second and you're kind of holding the entire party off. And, well, the other two players they wailed on him, telling me that I was right, and they started swearing at him. And like, I really don't like that situation. I really don't like to see people start swearing at each other. It's a game, you're supposed to have fun, but yeah, it's definitely a tip that I cannot pronounce enough. Like, if you go into hard mode, just get your armor, get your weapon at the max rate, so you're not gonna be a one-shot and holding your team back. Anyway, guys, this is basically all I needed to talk to you guys about on all the new mechanics that were in here. It's time to go into a run, in an escalation run. And the last behemoth down. Time to head out towards our new behemoth. And yeah, every time I look at this, I just want to go snowboarding. Holy crap. So yeah, I'm not really sure how this is gonna fare. The team is pretty good. So elemental form Umbral, ununified destructions. Slayers with unity shield active, deal 10% increased damage. Yeah, definitely gonna take this one, because I'm giving the shields to everybody. So yeah, everybody has shields, everybody has 10% increased damage. So this time we're running through some caves. Like I said before, they did a really good job on actually making this this battleground here. So Fort Flame, as you can see here, the four first attacks will deal 50% increased damage for me. So sometimes it's really important that you actually go out of your way to actually pick up the extra flame. And here we are, the new boss. So we have 5 or 6 pillars. And you can actually break these pillars. But I have no idea what actually it does if you break the pillars. Let's pick up the glow. So he's jumping up right now. You cannot hit him as well when he's up there. So not really sure if that's a bug or if that's how it works. For now, let's try to focus on actually beating him. Let's give a buff. The buff actually broke again. So yeah, his scorpion tail actually slamming into the ground. He has a breath that actually blows you away. It doesn't help if you're actually behind him. It even blows you away if you're behind him. And he goes up again. As you can see, all the pillars except this one are broken. So I'm gonna break this one and this one as well. I'm really not sure what it actually does. It throws a giant ice spike. And we're almost frozen though, so we gotta be careful. Now we do have 2 braziers in here to lower your frostbite a little bit. Well, we gotta start breaking his parts. There we go. I think we broke one part because it went down all of a sudden. He's going up again. Now you gotta be careful because sometimes he actually breaks the pillar. This time he jumps down. He breaks the pillar and then the pillar comes crashing down on you. And there's another event. Oh! Backflip right onto me. Whoa, I'm almost frozen. Let's get in here. Somebody died. It was a bad boost because it wasn't empowered. So you kinda can fight him while in this range. Goes up again. Jumping down. I think somebody, yeah, he's frozen. We need to set him free. We need to start breaking parts. And a blow again. He's growing his antlers. Yeah, the behemoth itself, it's really broke apart. Perfect, there we go. So that should set our buddy free as well. Being able to make him play together with us again. And his breath. And we get pushed back again. There he goes with his antlers again. He looks amazing though. Like, he really looks amazing. And I think we broke another part. Ooh. Big spike. Crash down. Let's try to give a boost. Yeah, it broke again, so it didn't work. Kind of wanted to hit his leg. Because it's easier to hit his leg. Spike in the floor. Almost at the point where we're getting frozen. He's going up again. And he's gonna crash it down. This is something, yeah. This is something that kills a lot of players. I need to get in there. I need to get in there. Yeah, I need to create those pylons. So you can actually set it up. I'm gonna freeze over, I think. And we already have a couple players frozen over. Let's get in this range. I can't do anything. If I step outside of this range, I got frozen over. Whoa! Don't get out of the range. I can't. Oh, I have time. A little time to play again. Yeah, it's a tricky fight, guys. It's a tricky fight. I think we almost got him. I think we almost got him. I think we almost got him. Backspin down with a spike. Oh, and somebody died. I'm gonna freeze. I'm gonna freeze. Ooh, and we got him.
To slay a legend is no mean feat, Skyslayer. I trust you have all the charge aether you sought and more.
So you don't actually kill the behemoth. You actually like trap him back into the ice where he was trapped in. Yeah, like I said, it's a really fun fight. This last behemoth, the encounter is incredible. Like when he throws the spike down, and I had like the entire party just wipe. And this is also important why you do not use your revives basically in the previous fights. And that's why people always stay like down. If you don't use your revives, you can use them at the last boss at Urska. When he actually shoots down that ice spike on the top. When everybody dies, you still have that revive yet. If you use your revive before Urska and he does that ability, then you're kind of screwed. And you don't want to screw yourself over at the last behemoth, of course. So the last thing I want to talk to you guys about is all the different talent points that come with this Frost Escalation. And there are some pretty impressive ones in here, and also some useless ones, but you kind of need to take them to actually gain enough to go to the next level. So yeah, let's go over all of them. Frozen Armor. Gaining a Frost Defender amp grants a 25 health shield that refreshes every 10 seconds. Each additional Frost Defender amp acquired adds 25 additional shields. Would never take it if I do not need it to actually go to the next part. Zeiss Maneuvers. Admiral Zai formation drills have granted 15% passive movement speed during Frost Escalation. Again, 15% passive movement speed. If it was attack speed, I would say, yeah, take it. It's beneficial to everybody. Movement speed, had to take it because I couldn't go to the next level. Now, Farslayer's Precision is a really good one. Xilia's Knowledge of Dangerous Behemoths has granted 5 passive part damage converted to wound damage during Frost Escalation. It is really good if you can pick the right avatar, the wound avatar for this, because it basically gives you 5% increased wound damage on top of the avatar's wound damage that you were already do. Gaining then the 100% from the amp that's in there, like you can gain 100 wound damage from a certain amp that you can pick up that has a direct link to the wound avatar. You can gain a lot of wound damage on every hit that you can do. So it's definitely a good one to pick up, but I would only pick it up if you're playing like the Chain Blades or the Pike, or if you're like solo player and you can guarantee that you can every time pick that wound damage part up. I didn't pick it because I cannot guarantee that. So, and I play repeaters, so I didn't leave that one out. Because I play repeaters, I don't have any sprints while I actually move. So 15% passive movement speed is a little bit beneficial for repeater players. And then one you definitely want to take is the Insulated Gear one. Frostbite rises 10% slower, stacks with all levels of Insulated Gear. So in the next track, you can also already see Insulated Gear 2. Frostbite rises 10% slower. So that's going to be 20% in total, stacks with all levels of Insulated Gear. We have Borm's Might, wills a strain you in the art of concussive force, granting 5% passive stagger per hit, increases during Frost Escalation. Really good if you're working axes, if you're working hammers, if you're working strikers. For me, for swords, for pike users, for chain blades, not really beneficial because I personally don't do stagger damage, as you could see before. Even the avatar for stagger damage is kind of pointless for me. So I left this one out. And then definitely a really good one, but it's a double-edged sword one. Hot and cold. Attack speed is increased by 15%. However, taking damage from any source also increases your frostbite by 2%. So, like I said, it's a double sword. 15% attack speed is really, really good. But you gotta make sure that you don't get hit too often, or every time you get hit, 2% increased frostbite, you're gonna get frozen really, really fast. So for the next line, we have Moira's Reinforcements. Moira has reinforced the joints of your armor, granting 15% passive damage reduction during Frost Escalation. Passive damage reduction, it's a pretty solid one. But definitely take this one. Bottle of Warmth. Braziers continue to prevent frostbite buildup for 8 seconds after leaving their radius. So I think this is a really good one, but it's a niche one. Like, you're gonna get to the brazier, you're gonna get the flame, you're gonna reduce it, and 8 seconds after you leave it, you're not gonna get the increase in frostbite. It's pretty good, but it's also not. If it would say like 15 seconds, I would say yeah, take it. But 8 seconds, it's kind of, there are better amps in there and better ways to spend your points than on this one. And then we have the passive upgrade for Insulated Gear 3. Frostbite rises 10% slower again, so that's together, that's 30% slower rise of your frostbite. So definitely, I would suggest to everybody, like, pick these up. They're a must-have. Then we have Heated Blade, and this one is the one I was talking about earlier. Absorbing the flame from a brazier causes your next attack to deal 50% more damage. Slayers can hold multiple charges of Heated Blade. So as you could see, at one point I was holding 7, I think, 7 in total of the Heated Blade, meaning that my first 7 attacks would deal 50% more damage. For axe players, the heaviest hitting weapon in the game, 50% for your first 8 attacks. That's huge. That is a huge buff. So I would suggest everybody just pick up Heated Blade. It's a beneficial buff that's gonna increase every time you pick up a flame from one of the braziers. Then Warm-Blooded, again, one that everybody probably needs to pick up. The first time you would become frostbitten, each run immediately reduces your frostbite buildup by 50%. So if you would get frostbite, bam, you instantly get reset back to half. So that's a really beneficial one. I would suggest everybody to pick it up. And then, yeah, I kind of need to pick this one up, and it's also it's actually a really good one. Cat has honed your skills, granting, well, the first one is 5%, the second one is 7.5%, so I would presume on 3 talent points that you're gonna get 10% increased passive attack damage during Frost Escalation. So again, 10% increased in damage done, 50% increased damage done for your first attacks on how many flames you have here. Like, there's a whole lot of increased attacks in here. Definitely pick these up. So we have the last one for the frostbite. Defense is when frostbite falls below 50%, it rapidly fills back to 50. Gain 15% passive attack damage and damage reduction. So again, it's a double-edged sword. So your frostbite falls below 50. When frostbite falls below 50%, it rapidly fills back to 50. I do believe they mean to say back to 50%, but they left out the percentage marker there. But I do believe that's what they mean. So if you would get dropped, like, for instance, you're at 50-60%, and you're gonna break 2 parts in rapid succession. That means you would drop your health, well, your frostbite to 30%-ish, around this. it's gonna increase really fast, like rapidly back to the 50%. But you gain the 15% passive attack damage and damage reduction. So again, passive attack damage and damage reduction. It's a really good one, but it's a double-edged sword. Like, it's gonna be a tricky one. I'll probably gonna pick this one up. It's basically because, yeah, first time you would become frostbitten each run, immediately reduce your frostbite build up by 50%. So they kind of cancel each other out, but only one time. So it's a really nice amp. So Lady Strikers, Lady Lux shares mysterious knowledge of behemoths is granted 5% passive critical strike chance during Frost Escalation. I do believe that this is a three-way one. So that's probably gonna be 15% increased critical strike chance. Not really sure yet. I haven't unlocked it yet, but I do believe it's gonna be 15% increased critical strike chance. So definitely gonna pick this one up. And then Cold Rush, whenever a behemoth dies, you gain 25% increased movement speed, 15% increased attack speed, and 10% increased damage for 1 minute. It sounds like a really, like the most OP amp upgrade that you can get. But there's also a flaw behind it. This one is only good at fights which have 2 behemoths. Meaning that if you have this one, it's a passive upgrade, so whenever a behemoth dies, that's basically active the entire line through escalation. If you kill a behemoth and you run towards the next venue, even if you get there, like for instance, let's say it's 15 to 30 seconds to get to the next venue where you're gonna be fighting your next behemoth. Let's say you're running towards the last behemoth. It's going to be a 30-second window before you get... That means you only have 30 seconds of increased movement speed, increased attack speed, and increased damage. So it's not really... It's an OP one, but it's only beneficial at the fights where you have 2 behemoths. Just to get rid of that second behemoth, like a 1 minute increase for everything, that's kind of huge. And then we have the last tier here. Aspects of the Warrior. Your critical strike deals 10% more damage. As we talked about the avatar of what was Destruction. So this increases to 20% if you are the avatar of Destruction. The avatar of Destruction relies on your critical damage. So the higher your critical damage is, the more percentage you're gonna get rid of that frozen debuff. So yeah, Aspect of the Warrior, a really good one, increasing it to 20% increased damage for your critical strikes. Aspect of the Defender, when a behemoth becomes staggered, gain 2% increased attack speed for the remainder of escalation. So if you can stagger this one, stagger the first behemoth in your entire escalation, then, well, it's 2% increased attack speed the entire run. And this actually goes to 4% if you are the avatar of Control. Definitely not gonna pick this one up, because, well, I play with repeaters, so even the avatar of Control is not a good one for me. Aspect of the Scout, when a behemoth part is wounded, gain 2% increased damage for the remainder of escalation. This increases to 4% if you are the avatar of Subtlety, so definitely gonna pick this one up. Because if it's kind of tricky. Sometimes you have a really good team and you're not going to be able to get that wound in before the other guys break the part. That's just how it is. So it's kind of a... It's not a double-edged sword. It's two sides of a coin. Like, if your team is not really that good, you're going to get that wound in pretty fast in escalation, and you're going to get that 4% increased attack damage. But if your team is too good and they're breaking parts before you can actually wound them, you're not going to get that 4%, if you know what I'm trying to explain. And then the last one, Aspect of the Mender, pulses 25 healing to all allies within a short distance every 5 seconds. This amount is increased to 50 if you are the Avatar of Unity. So Avatar of Unity is the one that places the shields. So you're going to be able to place shields on players and also actually heal every other Slayer for 50 a tick every 5 seconds if you are the Avatar of Unity. So it's a really good one. I would rather have this one kind of changed though. I'm not really sure. This just a train of thought of me. But instead of healing, kind of make it like every time you take a tick, and it doesn't have to be 5 seconds. Make it 15 seconds. Every 15 seconds you give a tick in a radius. And give it 2% minus on your frost meter, on your frostbite meter. Like, just make one player able to decrease the frost meter frost bar of everybody, just by being the avatar of Unity and having the aspect of the Mender equipped. I'm not really sure. I don't think that healing is kind of an issue through all the fights that I've done so far, but Frostbite is. And if you are able to like be a pillar inside of your group that is able to actually get rid of, well, you can place a pillar of cleansing and actually stop the frostbite. You can break parts. Like, there's a lot of means. Like, this is just a train of thought of me, but yeah, still pulse 25 healing or 50 healing every 5 seconds. It's a pretty good one. And that is everything I had to talk to you guys about on Frost Escalation, guys. So my general train of thought, the venue where we play, the arena they made for me, it looks incredible. Like, they really put in a lot of work aesthetically on how it looks. I love the venue with the village. The village looks incredible. Like, overall, it really, the cave where you fight him with the last behemoth, the pillars where he's jumping on, like, the last behemoth itself, it's a fun fight. I find this fight more fun than the last one, like the behemoth in the middle of the tree stump, on top of the tree. It was more like, it was a passive behemoth. He wasn't doing really a lot. There weren't a lot of movement mechanics behind it. He was just standing still in the middle and swinging his arm around a little bit, growing roots at sometimes. But this one, he jumps up. He throws those ice pillars from the ceiling on top of you. Like, I really like this behemoth. So overall, Frost Escalation, I was hyped about it, and yeah, it was worth being hyped about. This is also gonna be kind of a niche thing. Again, Frost Escalation in general is a niche thing. You basically play it out, you get the gear, and then it's kind of left behind. Like all the other escalations, if I look at my hunts and my escalations, I got them at 25. Well, I can show it
a moment
here easier. No, not the lanterns. So I got them all at 25. I got all the gear behind it. I got all the weapons behind it. And that's basically when you stop playing it. There is no more reason to actually play it once you gathered everything that's together in there. And that's kind of a sad part as well. Like, maybe if once you actually got, and this is another train of thought of me, and it's gonna drive the video out of control on duration, but maybe once you get to level 25, put in a reward system that every time after you got to level 25, there's like specific amps or specific things you can only get from escalations that you would need for your overall progress of your Slayer. Like, getting the gear and getting the exotics and getting the special legendary gear and weapons from here, it's kind of fun. But after you got everything, you don't really play escalation at all anymore. And that's kind of a sad thing. So yeah, making some kind of tier reward system after level 25 would mean that players would keep playing the escalations, like the different escalations. This is just, like I said, a train of thought of me, guys. I love trying to think of new ways that you could actually play this game, but Frost Escalation, it has a big thumbs up for me. Anyway, guys, this is gonna wrap up my video. I do hope you enjoyed it. If you want to see more of my Let's Play or my quest progression or my progression here in Dauntless, just hit that subscribe button. It would always help out a lot. Like I said, I do hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.